So warm welcome to my tutorial, jazz chords in blues. Sounds scary, right? Jazz chords, whoa, whoa, whoa. You better get a surgeon or something, or an aspirin at least. No, stay, because you have one more sound tool at your fingertips. What is a jazz chord? You know the blues chord. It's the C7, like with the major 3, the 5, and the minor 7, and the root, not to be mixed up with Ruth. Hello Ruth, welcome, I know you're watching. And we're putting on top now, and that was new in jazz, and around the 40s they were sitting in some corner getting bored on illegal substances, and they said, well mate, why don't we just add a 9? Whoa, that's spaced out. And then they thought, well, let's stack thirds. Just as a game, just let's try it, you know? So they stacked, and they got more notes suddenly. And they figured out this one we can drop because it's clashing with the major third here. We don't want that one here. So we stay now with these notes here. Have a look. All of them will come up. Very important. So we have just the regular 7th chord, and then we have the 9 and the 13 and 9, because the numbers were stacked. It's going always up. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. The 13 is also chord 6. I will use both words, both terms according to the star signs or my personal mood. We have the 9, it's identical to the second, to the 2. So I might also use that word instead of 9, 2 or 9, 13 or 6. So the essence in jazz chords is also the or. You see, close is great. Close is great, and this is called the voicing. I would describe the chords also in voicings. That is the structural description. For example, here we have the 7, 2, 3, 13, or 7, 9, 3, 13. Okay, now let's see what we can do with them. Now let's start with example number 1. Imagine you're a beginner, you learned a piano just 20 minutes ago, and you can play just a couple of notes. And now listen to this. Okay, that's the C7. Now, whoa, and you learned my voicings here. Look at this. Already you can play very little here, and the richness of the chord is already like driving the thing 3 stories higher. Playing reduced stuff, and you just play great voicing of jazzy blues chords, and already creates atmosphere. It's such a rich sound. So you can just play them like this is the voicing 3, 6, 7, 9. You see, we have all the notes I explained to you before, a different arrangement. Isn't that wonderful? Now, of course, that's just. Now they're also great to tie chords. Example number 2. Tying chords. We play this, and then we let's say it's wonderful, no? I think I've just fallen in love with myself for this. Okay. Wonderful, and it's no headache at all. It's no jazz headache. I used this voicing and tied it, took the closest possible possibility to play the F voicing I showed you in the beginning. 7, 2, 3, 5. You see, it's the closest thing. And then I here just go to a basic jazz, a basic blues chord with the 6, the C6. It's a normal blues chord. So you see, it it's also in the mix. You're not forced every time to play a jazz chord. You can just combine them. Like you play. Here is just the regular 1-3-7 voicing of blues, which is totally fine. I want to show them briefly that you're familiar with them. So first the voicings I showed you first. It's the for C I showed you already. It's this one and also this one. This is a little learning curve at the beginning, but beauty does not come for free. The ladies know that. All that makeup costs a lot of money. This just costs a lot of time. So then we have in F, we have, for example, we can play this one. It's the same voicing on F, or this one. With the 6, it's a little bit more clashing than with the 5. You can use both. And in G, we have the G7, again 7, 2, 3, 5. This voicing, or 7, 2, 3, 6, gets you quite far. And then we have this other voicing I showed you already. We use it, for example, if I go from C7 to... Now let's have a look at this. I use the closest one from the C7 voicing, and this is not the closest one if we jump straight to the same of F. We don't want the parallel movement, so we're using the closest one to F, and that is this one. It's the same notes always. We have the 3 again, the 6 or 13, the 7 and the 9. You see, it's just an inversion from this one, or from this one rather, here. So you have these, and they are good for, if you know them both, for the closest possible connection. And then we have like the G, or for example this one. Same notes, and so we use them when we come to G from the where come a little bit later to, or, and here I introduce something that is next on our schedule. You will know some of that already from my lesson, Fat Chords and Blues. It's overlapping, it's not the same. And also this thing from the chromatic trick. I will link that down there, the chromatic trick. And this chromatic trick I have not shown you with the jazz voicings. Okay? One way of connecting chords is just going straight. And we have a second way, that is, look at this. You just play a couple of simple notes, scale. Oh, damn it, is that great. It's fantastic. Let me rest for a second, just to take some breath. So, and this is connecting chords with a chromatic approach, like we're approaching a chord, for, let's say we are in C, here. And now, and what was it? We have the chromatic higher note from F is F sharp, right? So, F sharp, and we use the voicing from on F sharp, this 7, 9, 3, 6. This might be actually the hardest bit because you're very often familiar with the F chord, G and C, but the chromatic ones, they are probably like strange animals, like a blue zebra you haven't seen before. So you have to learn those two to get this great sound, to use the same voicings. to get to F. Or to get from here, chromatic approaching to C, D flat or C sharp now. 7, 9, 3, 13 of C sharp or D flat. And then you play something like ugh. Of course, I'm overdoing it a little bit for you. Later on, I would use it not every time, but just, occasionally, so that it doesn't lose its appeal. Now, two popular spots to use the chromatic approach has always been the turnaround when we go to G7 and the N. And you have heard it many times, you just don't know it, but you know it. Okay, let's have a look. What do I mean? And now, yes, it's a jazz chord, it's a jazz voicing. I want to go to G7 and approach it chromatically from the top, from A flat 7 and going to G7. If we have a look at the G7 here, you have the voicing is hidden in between the bass and the top note. It's this one. And you see, we don't have what we know already, but without the 9. It's also a variation. Now, of course, variations. I cannot touch all of them, just a couple of them. So remember this one for your next turnaround. You can impress up to 70,000 people at once. And also we have it, the chromatic thing with jazz voicings, like when you finish your piece, like... Lovely, huh? So if you use it tastefully in your regular blues, there are quite some highlights. What did I play here? We are again chromatic approach, D flat 7. I showed you this one before. 7, 9, 3, 6. And we just move down to the C7 with the same voicing. And you're just done. You got the gig. And that is the so-called altered chord. It has another interval on top, and it's good to know. So we have here the root, we have the 7, and we're now on G7. We are playing the major third, we're playing the now augmented 5, and the 7. And now this is completely new territory. Get some water in between to refreshen your senses. Now, this is a very jazzy chord. But Dr. John plays it, I wouldn't say a lot, but not, occasionally. It's the altered chord because we have the augmented or altered 5 and the augmented 9. Now listen to this in context. You see? Very nice if you don't overdo it, okay? Nice ending also. Now imagine we want to do a little extension of our usual blues pattern. Actually, my example is full of that later on after this. We will hit also other chords. For example, we play this C7, A7, D7, G7. For example, I play later on. But you can also jazz voicing. And now Don't tell me that doesn't sound great, huh? So you might, after all, get a liking for jazz. So let's see what I did. We very often have this from going from C to the A7. So what I did was C7 with the 7, 2, 3, 5 voicing, and just went chromatically down until I reach the final destination, A7, everybody out. No, it's not the final destination, because we still have D7. So how do I solve the problem now? I have a melody going up here. So, and now we have the D7 coming. And this is actually also a jazz voicing, jazz chord. Because we have the 9 again, right? So, and I want to go after D7, I want to go to G7. And now let's look a little bit ahead. We have this voicing 3, 5, 7, 9, and now we want to play after that G. And I find the closest version here. And you know this one already, because I explained it to you before. Like we have. And we are in G7. So the whole thing would sound. And now you might play something here. Again. A7, jazz voicing. Lovely, and then you go ahead. And here we have something. Again, sometimes you have to spread the voicing over 2 hands. Now sounds nice and warm here, because it's a little bit further down. So we cannot maybe sometimes use the 9 also. Maybe it starts to sound muddy. I'll show you this one. So we have the F7, 7 here, the 3rd here, and the 6th here. Sounds really full and warm-bodied, okay? And we come here from the F sharp, same voicing. Fantastic stuff. Of course, you can use it as well on the regular 12-bar blues. You know, you just play your 4 bars. Now. Here was showing you also one other thing. Well, it's a lot, but you collect. You watch the video 200 times and then you get it all. Like here again, we have the D flat 7, and we have the major 3rd and the 7 and the 9. We don't have the 6 here. We don't always have to play all of the allowed notes. We don't always have to play all notes that are theoretically possible. So that causes diversity. Ever heard of that? And this has a great, slightly more open sound. 3, 7, 9. Remember that. It's great for blues. It's great for blues. So. It's the same thing on F now. 3, 7, 9. 3, 7, 9. Now play it with a thing. Now play exactly the same with this 13. You see, it's up to you then to practice and to do the variations. Now watch my example. You can get the sheet music, of course. Give me a little of your money or the MIDI file. I think it's definitely. If I was a student, I would buy all of my stuff, of course. When I was young, or even younger than I'm now, there was nothing like this kind of tutorials and then getting right to the sheet music. Wow, boy, what I've bought it. Anyway, so take care. I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you learned a lot for your own playing, and take care. All the best from Berlin. So there's this German in the hotel bar, and he's going to the pianist, and he says, excuse me, can you play jazz chord? Can you play jazz chord? And he thinks, yeah, pianist thinks, sure. And he goes and plays a couple of smooth jazz chords, and the German is not satisfied. This was not jazz chord. Can you play jazz chord? The piano player, okay, let's do it. He plays some Thelonious Monk but the German, no, this is not good. Just jazz chord. Okay, now the piano player is doing the real stuff like Herbie Hancock, ba 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 ba, and then the German says, no, maybe I sing for you. I just call to say I love you. I hope you liked my video and that you learned something. Now you can subscribe. Just press this subscribe button or click on another of my videos on this side. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.